Could you please introduce yourself?
My name is Sivan. I currently work for the Walt Disney company, or so Disney Consumer Products and Interactive. And I do Angular work for fun and on the side, and love what I do.
Awesome. You're gonna be giving a talk on powering content-driven applications with world's most popular CMS.
Yeah. So I'm going to be focusing my talk on building decoupled applications, so applications that actually don't necessarily even need WordPress, which is the world's most popular CMS, to run anything. So basically allowing, let's say, a marketing team or people who work more with the content to do what they do best, but then build out applications in any kind of code language that you prefer. I prefer Angular, so I say, okay, let's create something that's completely in Angular that just grabs the data from the WordPress side, so that way everyone kind of has a win-win in the situation.
Cool. You're going to be talking about working with the WordPress REST API, right? And so what kind of applications do you see companies creating with the WordPress REST API?
Right now, you see a lot of people using it to build out phone applications. So native phone applications is a big thing right now. There's a really popular plugin for WordPress called AppPresser, which allows people to actually take their WordPress blog or even e-commerce store and create a native phone application from that same data. And so that's what I'm talking about when I say decoupled. It's not relying on the WordPress to be running on the phone. It just grabs the data and displays it. So I'm seeing a lot of companies doing that kind of stuff where they are running phone applications powered by WordPress. Now, slowly, I'm starting to see more companies actually build other applications or integrate WordPress in some form into a larger scale web application. And that's all thanks to and empowered by the WordPress REST API that just came out pretty recently.
What are some of the challenges of building applications against the WordPress API?
You have to understand WordPress in itself. Once you have a good understanding of how to build anything with WordPress, it's actually pretty easy. Luckily, WordPress has a very low barrier of entry as far as development goes, so learning is pretty easy. As far as coming from the outside world into the WordPress community or into WordPress in general, I'd say the biggest challenges are just understanding that this is a very used platform. I think something like 27+% of the internet's using it right now. So being able to understand how it works and how to customize it, because the real power is not, okay, let me just get a WordPress website and create something from it, but actually being able to customize it and almost create your own API with your own data. So there's a little bit of a learning curve there, but I don't think it'd be that challenging. Obviously, someone who only does, let's say, Node development, this is still PHP, so it's a different language altogether on the back end. It's not Java or anything like that, so there might be a challenge there if you're not used to working with PHP as a language.
What kind of performance can someone expect when working with the WordPress API?
So the performance actually is a big issue that we've been talking about a lot on the WordPress side. And when you're talking about bringing in the data, the limitations are really on the server itself. And WordPress in itself, the core, does have some limitations with performance, and it could be better. It's slowly getting better and better as it gets older and older. Like as more and more contributors are taking part in this open source platform, the code is getting better, it's getting quicker, and there's ways around really optimizing how to get the data and display the data. The best part of it is that WordPress, when you're using it as just a headless, decoupled API, you don't need to worry about PHP rendering the server. Like, you don't need to worry about server-side rendering of the actual theme. Right. You are just grabbing JSON data, which is just text. So really, you're not giving too much load to the server as you would a default WordPress website. So really, caching comes into a lot of parts of it. So as people add caching layers to their database and to the objects that they're actually querying, that's where really you can get actually a lot of performance increases from the whole thing. So performance is it's a hot topic, but there's definitely some good solutions out there right now to make it super performant.
What would you say are the kind of the hard parts of building an Angular application with WordPress API?
I'd say it's not too difficult actually at all. From an Angular perspective, we have things called, you can create a service that connects to the API endpoints that you want, and it's completely RESTful from there. So saying, okay, here's my endpoint for, let's say, your default posts for any WordPress blog. You now have a RESTful endpoint which allows you to create posts using that same URL, or get a post just by passing in an ID, updating a post, same thing. So really, fundamentally, it's actually pretty easy. Just you have to understand how to work with any API. So really, it's no different than any other API that you're going to be working with, WordPress unrelated, basically.
Is there something that a person would need to know before starting to work with WordPress API, something that's helpful for them to know?
I'd highly recommend for anyone who's getting into it to check out the documentation. They just released the new dev handbook for it, which has really great code tutorials. As I said before, the real power in the WordPress REST API is not necessarily using it out of the box, but customizing it and then adding to it and then creating your own endpoint. So basically allowing you to build your own API out of the data that people are putting in through the CMS. So I'd say before you tackle on a bigger project, learn how to easily customize it, because they made it really simple to actually customize existing data as well as add in completely new routes and new endpoints.
Got it. Are there any specific security considerations when working with WordPress REST API?
There's definitely a lot of security dealing with WordPress in general. Because it's such a large platform, there are a lot of people out there who are always trying to find ways around it and get, hack it basically. With the API specifically, they've done a really good job of already doing authentication kind of built in on a low level. It has basic authentication as well as cookie validation. Cookie validation. You can actually install a plugin to give you OAuth authentication as well. And now there's another plugin which I find a lot easier, which is it's JWT, which is the plugin. They're JSON tokens. So authentication really is not as hard as it used to be. Like when the API first came out, or when it was still being developed, authentication was kind of a big factor and it was actually kind of difficult. Now it's actually become a lot easier. As far as displaying your content to the outside world, luckily the methods that are already available. So if you are looking at someone's blog, you already have access to their blog posts because you can see them when you're going to their website. So GET requests to the API to get the latest post is open. If you really wanted to secure your website, you might want to turn that off, maybe on a server level, turn off restrictions, don't allow anyone to get access to the API. Or you can say, hey, everyone already has access to it because they can look at my blog, so GET requests are going to be fine. Post requests, update requests, and delete requests are all going to be behind some type of authentication. WordPress has nonces built in, so WordPress nonce. It also uses that. So there is a lot of authentication and security kind of built in. Obviously, take a look at your application, look how many people are actually going to see it, and see if you want to add extra layers on top of it.
Sounds good. And if someone wanted to reach out or get in touch with you, what would be the best way to do that?
Best way to get in touch with me is actually through Twitter, RoyBoy789. I also have projects on GitHub, so if you wanted to look at what I'm doing with the WordPress REST API and Angular, GitHub also RoyBoy789. I get contacted there through messages or pull requests, things like that. So, but Twitter is usually how people get in touch with me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey there. Are you into reactive programming using JavaScript? Do you have to deal with asynchrony in your web app? Then join this instructor Ben Lesh to learn all of the ins and outs of RxJS in his hands-on workshop. Available online and in person, go to rxworkshop.com for more details and to book your spot today.